Hey y'all, it's your girl Mimi and welcome to The Breakdown. I want to start off by saying thank you for tuning into my channel, and I would really appreciate it if you keep coming back to show your support. If you happen to like what you hear, please show me some love by hitting those like and subscribe buttons along with the notification bell so that we can continue to break down and discuss these shows. If you haven't already viewed my video on episode 1 of Ready to Love, be sure to check it out on my channel or by simply clicking on the link located in the description box below. As you can tell by the title of this video, today I will be giving y'all a 2-in-1 special because I'm running behind on these reviews and I'm really sorry. I'm finding out that juggling life in general and creating content for YouTube is not something I've mastered just yet, but it's a process, okay? Life is a process. So please don't judge me, but I promise I'm working on it. That being said, let's not waste any more time and jump right on into season 4, episodes 2 and 3. In episode 2, the castmates finally get to meet one another so that they can begin their journey of finding true love. They arrive one by one to a beautiful home where they will be attending a mixer. You know, it's kind of like a shindig where they all can socialize and get to know each other. Mix and mingle. Okay, so as each single arrives at the house, they walk through the door and pick up one of the pre-made beverages on the credenza and then proceed to the backyard patio, which is decked out with an infinity pool, plenty of outdoor seating options, and nice scenery. Once everyone arrived at the mixer, Nephew Tommy brought up that they were down one man, and that the 10th and final male is Chris, or KG Smooth from last season. Tommy introduces KG to the group as a returning single. KG comes out and joins the party, and the show continues. Everyone was getting to know each other, and some of the singles were making a little headway with possibly finding people they might be interested in getting to know more, and some made absolutely no connection at all. Let's start with the ones who appeared to be vibing with one another. Deidre and Stacy were really comfortable together. He told Nephew Tommy that he was really feeling her. Immediately, I noticed that I was right about Stacy. She was not reserved at all and came in with guns blazing, ready to get her mingle on. Stacy also had her eye on AJ. Vernisha and Joelle were definitely feeling each other. They are both single parents, so they connected off of that similarity and just went on from there. I love it. David and Liz looked to me like they were a match made in heaven. We catch them getting to know each other and talking about their spirituality. Liz lets him know that she was in a gospel singing group. He seems very impressed, and then they begin singing hymns together, okay? Which was a little different, but they were bonding over their similar spiritual foundations and love for John P. Key, Hezekiah Walker, Commissioned, Smokey Norfolk, Mississippi Mass Choir, The Mighty Clouds of Joy, all of them, y'all. They were definitely having a moment. Jason and Alexis Fly look like they might be interested in seeing if there's something there. They were hanging out together, and she lets us know that she actually knows Jason because he is or was her son's basketball coach. She tells him that she's always had a crush on him but never approached him because she didn't feel like she was looking fly enough those days. He says he's flattered and admits that he'd like to explore their connection more as well. He also tells us that Alexis has a leg up on the women for him at the moment. My question is, wouldn't he have seen her at some point and known that she looked familiar to him if he genuinely had some sort of attraction to her? It just seems strange that he's never laid eyes on her when her son has played basketball for him. My thoughts are that he probably has seen her before and that there just wasn't an attraction to her that was memorable enough for him to recall who she was when she told him. We'll see how this pans out. Jason was also going goo goo gaga over my girl Kyra. I mean, he was really trying to get to know her. Kyra walked in giving 50 shades of emerald green life to everyone within her presence, just looking like money. And he let us know that he was here for the green dress, her athletic build, and all of the confidence that she exudes. So yeah, Alexis better watch out for this one. Troy was pretty much macking on all of the ladies, but I didn't see anything really significant with any of the conversations that we were privy to, besides the scene with him and Alexis, which could have been perceived as a connection, but I felt like she was simply putting the moves on Troy because they found out that 2 people were going home that day, and she wanted to make sure that she had someone in her corner in case of emergency. That was just my take on it, though. Now, the no connections were Andrea and Diedrich. She totally bored him to death by going on and on about finding out that her cat is missing back home and how she's so sad and trying to digest this devastating news to still be mentally sound enough to carry on throughout this process of finding her Mr. Right. Okay, look, Diedrich was not feeling Andrea at all and suggests that they moved around and mingle with other people, okay? Andrea and Ron didn't hit it off either. In their conversation, Ron wanted her to be a traditional mother and quit her job to stay at home and raise kids. He told her that they don't need that flight attendant check that bad. Andrea was turned off by his ignorance, but attempted to allow him to redeem himself by asking if her quitting her job would only be a temporary deal. You know, until the children are out of those pivotal years, and then she can return to work. Ron said, well, a kid ain't really temporary. To which Andrea quickly ends the conversation by acting like she needs to go and catch up with Joelle, who is walking by. Kyra and AJ had an interesting backstory. Kyra shares with nephew Tommy and a few of the ladies that she's actually dated AJ before, and he is her worst dating experience so far. She says that she and her girlfriends have a nickname for him called El Cheapo because on a date with him, she placed her order and left her credit card on the table, then went to the bathroom. When she returned, her card was still sitting on the table and AJ didn't offer to pick up the bill, so she had to. We find out in another scene between Kyra and AJ that AJ admits that he didn't pick up the bill on their date because when she went to the bathroom, he tried to use his card to pay for their tab, but his card was declined. And it was the only one he brought on the date. He was too embarrassed to say anything at the time and thought that she should have been okay with paying. Kyra expresses her issues with him not just telling the truth and instead making her out to be the bad guy and telling her that she needed to change her traditions. He apologizes and Kyra accepts. She says she hopes that he's grown from his past mistakes and pursues things differently on this journey. AJ tells us in his confessional that he wants to make it up to Kyra and they both cheers to second chances. Honestly, I don't think Kyra is interested in going back to that space with him, but I guess we'll find out. And wasn't one of your else financially responsible or something like that, and you can't even pick up the bill, sir? Make it make sense. Oh my God. Ida and Jason are a no-go. Okay, we see them sitting down talking. No, wait a minute. I'm sorry. Ida was doing all the talking and wouldn't let Jason get a word in edgewise, okay? She just kept going and going and going. And all I could do is focus on Jason trying to appear interested, then looking up and down and around, wondering what he had done in his life to receive such a punishment. In his confessional, Jason made it crystal clear that Ida is an overwhelming no for him and gave him some serious red flags. Ida also walked up to Christian and told him that once she saw that his ankles were moisturized, she knew that he was a man after her own heart. Christian laughed in disbelief, and that was that. Ida was just all over the place, y'all. Now, Stacy and Christian didn't hit it off because she told Kyra and Venetia that she felt like he was cute and sweet, but not aggressive enough for her. They all agree that unless he opens up and lets them know who he is, his likes and dislikes, they will only view him as the homie. Get it together, Christian. Amber and Khalil ain't it either, y'all. Their conversation was super awkward because Khalil asked her if she's been throwing everybody in jail since she's a prosecutor. And she tells him that she doesn't throw anyone in jail, to which he responds, they throw themselves in jail? Is that what you're going to tell me? Amber says in her confessional that she hates when men are so argumentative with her just because she's an attorney. She tries to move their conversation to a better place by asking him what his flaw is in a relationship. And Khalil goes on to say, mean girls. She's like, no, there has to be some type of flaw or thing that you could improve on. And again, he says, mean girls. So at this point, Amber checks all the way out of Khalil. So at the end of episode 2, Khalil and Christian were the two singles who the ladies thought weren't ready to love, due to their lack of forming a connection with any of them. Y'all know that I was feeling Khalil in his introduction, but just his entrance in this episode gave me I like to visit museums by myself on the weekend and look at artifacts vibes. I don't know, the way he walked in holding his beverage with no real facial expression, just a slight nod to folks as he passed them by, was very squarish, but in an introverted manner. I think Khalil wasn't as energetic as he appeared in episode 1, and that's not necessarily a bad thing, because maybe he was trying to feel things out before he loosened up, or maybe that's just truly who he is. The same goes for Christian. He too may have needed more time to open up to the ladies, but we'll never know because they were eliminated. All right, in episode 3, everyone met up for brunch. Amber stood out to me at this event thanks to those hot pink snakeskin thigh high boots, and Ida's dress was ill fitting for her body type, to me, okay? But to each their own. Nephew Tommy comes in while everyone is eating and lets the men know that they can relax because it's time to even it out with the elimination of 2 ladies this week. Oh, and curveball, one of the ladies will be going home at the end of the brunch. The ladies are nervous and most need a refill on their mimosas, but it's time to see who is making an impression on these fellas and who isn't. Let's get into it. Right away, we see Alexis and Troy sitting together. Per usual, he's rambling on and on about how she walks in the room and he immediately feels her aura, making him want to get to know her. At this point, Alexis is giving him her best pageant face and simply responds, "Awesome." In her confessional, she admits that she was feeling Troy a little bit, but in the pit of her stomach, she doesn't really know if he's being real with her. Go with your gut, boo. Go with your gut. She tries to escape, and he pulls her in for a kiss on the cheek. She tells us that Troy sent her a text saying that she was his number one, but she has a feeling that she's not his only number one. Then they immediately show Troy finessing Chrysanthemum, Amber, and Andrea, saying the exact same things to all of them. A hot mess. And the way he started rubbing all up and down Amber's boots felt wrong to me. Ew. David and Stacy are having some one-on-one time when Ida walks up and randomly sits down right next to and nearly on top of David. Ida tells him that he looks nervous, then asks if he feels like he can marry both her and Stacy. Oh my God, Ida, what are you doing? Amber and KG are discussing the remarks he made last season about finances, and Amber lets him know that she doesn't mind splitting the bills. She thinks it's crazy to ask someone to give her their entire check and still expect to grow and flourish as a household. KG is loving this conversation and is probably ready to marry Amber today. AJ and Andrea are having an awkward chat. She tells him that he had her on the fence yesterday, and he says he's just trying to picture how they would work because he can't see it. Then admits in his confessional that he's just not that into Andrea. He thinks she's gorgeous, but that's pretty much it. He's saved by the bell when Stacy comes up and asks if she can steal him from her, and he gladly accepts. And to be honest, in my opinion, Andrea is just 100% snooze fest. So I get it. I just feel like there's no depth to her. You know, nothing that makes someone want to explore anything beyond a friendship, if that, with her. And I've thought that since episode 1. Plus, and this is super random, but the parts that she puts in her head trigger me, y'all, for some reason. I don't know why. Have y'all noticed them? It's like she just takes her fingers and makes a part wherever instead of using a rat tail comb or something. Her parts are way too scalpy for me. That's all. So back to AJ and Stacy. They sit down and he tells her that he saw her walk in and that she's gorgeous. And I'm thinking, all right, AJ, now that's the second time you refer to a woman as gorgeous within 5 minutes of being with them. You're starting to sound like your boy Troy, okay? Find another adjective. She talks to him about him being tall and proceeds to guess his shoe size correctly, which is some thought stuff to do. Of course, that leads to some light flirting and hand-holding. But just when things were heating up, in walks Ida, asking if she can join another one of Stacy's chats. They both looked a little annoyed, but make room for her to sit down. Ida says that she's feeling AJ's NBA pregame outfit that he had on, wearing a blazer with the hoodie underneath. She says that it's giving her just got off the bus vibes, which made AJ look at her a little crazy. I think she saw how he received what she said, and then she quickly said, "To make $1 million." In Stacy's confessional, she says that there are 7 other men there, so Ida needs to stop interrupting her talks and leave her alone. She is giving very much stalker tease, Stace, so I agree. Alexis and Jason are discussing how her son would feel about mommy dating his coach. She says she thinks he'd be excited, and she tell him that mommy has to be happy for you to be happy. Jason says, "Amen." I told y'all that there's something about this situation that I'm not feeling. I don't think that Jason is as into Alexis as she is in him. Period. David asked Bernicia and Tressa how they would react if a man tells them that he's practicing abstinence. Vernisha asks how long is this going to last. David says until they get married, and Vernisha says, so when are we getting married? Tressa keeps it all the way 100 and says it's not that she can't abstain, she just doesn't want to because she's in her 40s and she's trying to make it do what it do, boo. Okay? David reveals in a confessional that he believes in waiting until you're married and wants to be with someone who has the same strong standards. It was at this point that David significantly limited his available options on the show. Diedrich sees Ida standing at the buffet and tries to start a conversation with her. She tells us that Ron is her number one, but she likes Diedrich because he's patient, and anyone who is with her will have to be that. And she ain't never lied. They must possess the patience of Job. Okay? She tells him that he's a little bossy. Diedrich tries to open up and tell her a little bit about himself, and as soon as he says, I'm a chef, she jokingly says, and you want to make oxtails for me? I'm sorry for reading your mind. I try not to use that talent on people. He replies, sure. Are you nervous? I'm thinking, no, Dietrich, Ida isn't nervous. She's just not working with the full deck, okay? Ida has had one too many mimosas and they are fighting with her crazy, basically, okay? She agrees that she's a little nervous and Dietrich thinks that's why she's giving off homie vibes. He tells her that he wants to get to know her because he might have an attraction to her, but she's always joking, so she comes across as the homie. He wants her to open up and be authentic so people can get to know who she is instead of knowing her for all the clowning that she does. She says that's her first time learning that. And he says, that's because you always clowning. Nephew Tommy returns and tells them that it's time for someone to go. He announces that the woman the men just haven't connected with is Ida. This fool immediately looks shocked that her name was called. Stands up and starts accepting hugs from the group. They tell her that it was nice meeting her, and she says, it clearly wasn't nice to meet me because you're sending me home, so don't tell me that it's nice to meet me. Then she tells Dietrich, who was giving her a goodbye hug, okay, that's enough, and walks out. The camera shows her outside, very upset and saying that all the ones who were hugging on her and grabbing on her yesterday owe her an explanation. Girl, bye, Ida. This just wasn't your time, sis. I'm sorry. Tommy tells the group that from here on out, it's time to start dating old school. He wants them to ask each other out and really get to know each other. He reminds everyone that another lady will be going home this week, so finding the right connection is very important. So let's run through these old school dates, okay? First up is Alexis and AJ's date at a DIY candle making shop. Alexis walks in with some leather pants and matching thigh-high boots. I don't know what it is, these thigh-high boots. Okay. He tells her that she looks like a superhero, and she takes it as a compliment. Girl, my feelings would have been hurt, okay? A superhero? That's not exactly the look that I was trying to accomplish, but okay. He helps her put on her apron, and they start talking very sensual to one another. She's grabbing his beard and says that his swag is on 1,000 and that his masculinity is very confident. She also tells him that he's attractive and he makes music, so that means he can put her to bed. And if he can sing, then her panties are probably dropping. Girl, stop. Pick up your underwear and put them back on. This man is broke as a joke. You better go ask Kyra. Hello? The only thing he can do is put you to bed. Where is Jay Holiday? AJ thinks that Alexis is very aggressive, and all of a sudden, he's not into it. He brings up that she was previously married to a pastor, yet she speaks so freely about sex, which is kind of shocking to him. She says that sex is very important to her, and that they should be able to have that conversation as adults. She admits that she's very physically attracted to him, and so that's why she keeps throwing out innuendos. AJ lets us know that he's looking for a genuine companion, and not just sex. Do we believe him? Nope. The next day is with Kyra and Jason at Sweet Paris restaurant. Jason is clearly smitten with Kyra. He compliments her outfit and she tells him that she got dressed for him today. They start getting to know each other and she tells him that she likes to travel and can be a little competitive. Jason reveals that he's an athlete, so he's competitive as well. He tells her that he played basketball and was on the swim team, so he's a great diver. She says, "That's great." And they both fall out laughing. Kyra states in her confessional that she thinks Jason is so cute. As they are talking, Jason tells her that he's dealt with depression in the past. This concerns her because she's experienced depression with a family member and it ended in a very traumatic way, so she doesn't want to relive that pain again. Jason tells her that he's been to counseling about his issues, had some great cries, and sorted out his problems. He lets her know that he appreciates her for coming out with him. She concurs and they proceed to eat their dessert together. I don't know. I think that Kyra likes Jason, and Jason definitely likes Kyra. But I feel like learning about his issues with depression might have slightly pushed her away from them being a real thing. But who knows? At least he has Alexis if it doesn't work out with Kyra, right? The next date is actually a group date with Joelle, David, Liz, and Vernisha, and Troy, Andrea, and Amber at a wine and paint class. David, Vernisha, Liz, and Joelle are at one table, and Andrea, Troy, and Amber are at another table. Amber is the last one to arrive, and when she walks in, she has her shirt open with a bandeau underneath it. Look at Amber showing off the goodies. Troy sees her, and his eyes almost fall out of his big head, okay? Andrea looks and slowly sips her wine. Everyone gets seated and starts to work on painting a stencil onto their wood piece. Vernisha is assisting David with applying his stencil at his request. Troy is creepily flirting with Amber. Liz is telling Joelle that he is a really genuine person, doesn't BS people, and is very handsome. In her confessional, she says that Joelle is high up there on her list. Joelle respectfully receives her compliments and gives some back in return, and they continue to talk. Troy is now focusing on Andrea and promising more trips to folks, okay? He suggests that Italy be one of their first dates and that maybe they can conceive their first child there. Ugh. Andrea says, okay, that's a cute story. Now, this is all being discussed within earshot of Amber. So when she overhears what Troy is saying, she starts looking like, what? David asks Vernisha if she has a vision board. She says yes, so he proceeds to ask her what's on it right now. She loudly says, a ring. Joelle overhears her and says, I like that. In Vernisha's confessional, she says that Joelle is her number one and that they definitely have an easy connection. However, he has expressed to her his interest in Liz. As she says this, Joelle walks over to her at the table to tell her that he likes her creation and then asks if she's good. She says that she appreciated him checking on her. How sweet. At the table behind them, Troy is completely making Andrea uncomfortable by getting handsy and trying to kiss her face. Then she says, why are you messing with my bra? Mind you, she's still trying to finish her painting while all this is going on. Amber sees all of this and is over it. She tells us that Troy is a playboy trying to go around kissing on any and everyone he can. She's annoyed that this has been a game to him, then gets her wine and leaves the table. Y'all know Amber doesn't like to waste her time. She told y'all that in episode 1. Good for you, Amber. Leave that creep alone. The last date is also a group date with Deidre and Alexis, KG and Kyra, AJ and Stacy, and Tressa and Jason at a well-done cooking class. Deidre is definitely excited to be there with Alexis, and AJ is impressed that Stacy remembered that he doesn't eat pork. So the instructor tells them that everyone is going to be making 2 different recipes at the same time. Mac and cheese and okra. Kyra and KG do this cute little teamwork chant. AJ is helping Stacy put on her apron, the same way he did on his date with Alexis. Tressa and Jason are putting on their aprons, getting ready to throw down. Alexis and Stacy are being competitive, talking back and forth about which of their teams is going to be the best. Alexis throws out there that she has a chef on her team, so they've already won. The instructor gives out the food assignments, and Deidre and Alexis and KG and Kyra are making mac and cheese. And Stacy and AJ and Tressa and Jason are making okra. Deidre tells AJ and Stacy that their okra is going to be nasty because it won't have any pork in it. Stacy tells Alexis that they better not be making a dry bechamel sauce, to which Alexis replies, oh baby, ain't nothing dry over here. It's nothing but moisture. Oh girl, calm down, okay? Deidre seems excited about her comment while AJ felt like she was still coming on too strong and aggressive. I just find it funny how he thinks that Alexis is so aggressive when she throws out her sexual innuendos, when Stacy makes the same kind of remarks, hence the "let me guess your shoe size" conversation they had at brunch, and he thinks that's cute. What's the difference, AJ? It's the same behavior. He's getting on my nerves. Stacy feeds AJ some okra and he loves it. Alexis and Jason are talking and she is eating the last of the okra that he and Tressa made. Tressa goes over and feeds Diedrich some of the okra that she and Jason made, and he is very impressed. She tells him that she loves using smoked paprika in her meals, and he asks if she's been to any of the spice stores there. She says no, and he offers to take her to one on a date. Go ahead, Tressa. She is shocked and says, okay. In her confessional, she says that Diedrich was the one who she was initially interested in, but at the mixer, they had a grown conversation, and she learned that he is not attracted to women who are as curvy as she is, so they turned into friends. At the mixer, Diedrich said that he used to be attracted to larger women like Tressa, but now he's attracted to a different type of woman. Diedrich says in his confessional that the vibe between he and Tressa was right and that he needs to open up and see if anything is there, which is very commendable in my opinion. He tells her that she has the dopest vibe there out of all the women. Tressa tells us that even though he thinks that she has the best personality out of all the ladies, she's aware that it could be a good or bad thing because men don't typically say, "Man, look at her personality." She says she's going to take it as a compliment and hope for the best. Stacy and KG are conversing. He likes that she's opening up to him. Then she leaves him sitting by himself and goes over to talk to Diedrich. Burnt. Where is Amber when you need her? Jesus. AJ is sitting by Kyra and she asks how his okra came out. He uses this as an opportunity to feed her some and she says, it's pretty good. Maybe a little salty, but... He acts like his feelings are hurt and they both laugh. She tells him that she's just trying to keep him on his toes a little bit. Kyra is so down to earth and I love it. Ugh. Too bad AJ didn't see that when they were dating because it might be too late for him at this point. They all raise a glass and Diedrich gives a toast to love, this journey, and making more connections. In her confessional, Tressa says that her tops and bottoms have changed because she had written Pawpaw off, but now she might be his type, so she's excited. Now that the dates are over, the men meet up with Nephew Tommy in the Gentleman's Lounge, which is where they will be meeting to talk about which women they will be sending home. He tells them that they have to decide on one woman to send home and that the only rule is that they keep it real during this process. Before things get started, Jason lets everyone know that Joel really came through for him the other day when he came over out of the blue to help him move, and he really put in work. He says that Joel is a good dude, and he really respects him a lot. All the other guys chime in and say the same thing about how great of a person Joel is. This brings my boy Joel to tears, and he lets everyone know that he appreciates everything that they said about him. He said that he doesn't think it has to be about just them looking for a woman. It could be about brotherhood too, and he just wanted to help Jason out. You heard me? Tommy acknowledges that when they, as black men, start supporting and caring for each other like that, you will be surprised at how much better they will be, instead of stepping on each other to get to the top. Message. Joel says that he wasn't expecting Jason to bring that up, but he knows him and he got a chance to meet his mama. And that baby nice. His mama nice. Jason jokingly says, "Hold on now," and they all laugh. That was such a nice moment, but as I was watching Joel talk, I noticed that David and Ron were sitting on each side of him. David's pants were sitting high above his ankles and he had on no socks. It looked like his legs were shaved, okay? Ron's blues were off and his socks looked like they had a bunch of little lamb chops on them. Y'all remember that show? Lamb chops. Play along or something. Anyway, these are the kind of things that I pay attention to. It's weird. So they get down to business talking about who they are feeling. Diedrich says Tressa moved up on his list. They have dope conversations and she's a real woman. The others agree. AJ says Alexis is a fire starter and aggressive. He says that she's not his top, but she's definitely in the mix. Well, isn't that funny? I thought she was too aggressive and that it was a turnoff. And what happened to Stacy? Why wasn't she brought up? See what I'm saying? AJ is with the games, y'all. Jason says he's feeling Kyra and that she completely opened up and blew him out of the water. He told her that he was going to pursue her and she's definitely his top. Poor little Tink Tink Alexis. And why was AJ in his feelings when Jason said Kyra? Troy says Amber and Andrea. He says Amber was fun, but didn't like all the kissing on the cheek. Newsflash, weirdo, no one does. Hello? The guys are experiencing secondhand embarrassment from Troy and his foolishness. So am I. Tommy says that Troy likes to do a lot of kissing, but the first day meeting someone is probably too soon. The fact that he even has to say that is disturbing to me. When it comes to who they aren't feeling, David, AJ, and Troy all say that Tressa is friend-zoned and they have no romantic connection with her. Diedrich says Chrysanthemum and Kyra, because if they don't mess with him, then he don't mess with them. Okay, Petty Betty. Jason says Andrea because they have no connection. Joelle says Andrea. KG says Andrea and Stacy. Ron says Andrea, and we know that's because she won't stay at home and watch his kids, okay? Tommy says that two of the men have to take two ladies they chose as the bottom two on a date, and they have to tell one of them they are going home. We find out that the men decided to nominate Tressa and Andrea as their bottoms. Diedrich asked Tressa on a date, and David asked Andrea out. Andrea walks into the date wearing some jean shorts, a jean top, and some nude, thigh-high boots. Ironically, David matched her fly with his new blazer, black pants, and black shirt. They hug and sit down and have drinks by an outdoor fire pit. Tressa walks into her date with a mauve-colored long-sleeve fitted dress and her signature red fro. Deidre gets up to hug her and they sit down to talk. She notices that they aren't at a spice shop, but decides to ask him what made him change his mind about her, since he initially said he wasn't attracted to her. He tells her that it was all about their connection and vibe. It's the connection and vibe for him. She tells him that he would have to be attracted to her because she's vegan thick. David tells Andrea that they didn't really get to talk that much at the mixer with everything that was going on around them. She receives that and asks if she would do anything different. And she says she probably put herself out there a little bit more because she didn't get to talk to a couple of people. Diedrich explains to Tressa that the guys met up with Tommy earlier. She says, uh-oh, then sips on her drink. And the guys express who their tops and bottoms were, and that her name came up quite a bit on the bottom. Tressa is shocked. David is explaining the same thing to Andrea, letting her know that the guys spoke about who they weren't really making a connection with, and her name came up. She gives a look like, really, Ninja? Diedrich tells Tressa that everyone said nothing but great things about her, but most were only getting the homie vibe. David says that they collectively deliberated and came to the agreement that Andrea just didn't put herself out there enough. She says, okay. Diedrich says they felt like Tressa was the big sister type. She says, really? David says that as a group, they decided that she's not ready to love. Andrea cocked that head to the side and said, and everybody said that? He responded, it was a majority. She takes a sip of her drink and says, well, that's interesting. He tells her that she has a lot to offer, it just wasn't there, but that there is an appointed day that the love of her life is going to consume her with nothing but love. She says, amen, and they high five. They hug it out, and off goes Andrea in her boots and her side part. Diedrich tells Tressa that he was like, wait though, I didn't get my connection. Can I get my chance to see if there's something there? Then he tells her, and basically, I won, and we want you to stay. Tressa can't believe it. She says, wait a minute, don't do me like that. He also says that there are a couple other brothers that wanted her to stay too, and that they want to get to know her better. He wants to get to know her better. Then he asks her out on another date, and she happily accepts. They give each other a big hug, and Tressa tells him that she needs another drink because she thought she was about to take the walk of shame. They both start laughing. Well, that sums up episodes 2 and 3 of season 4. Again, I am so sorry that I'm late posting these videos, but I promise it'll get better, okay? Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. Thanks again for tuning in, and I'll be posting the breakdowns on episodes 4 and 5 of Ready to Love very soon. Definitely before episode 6 airs this Friday. I'm so serious. All right, y'all. Bye.